It's your host, Kanika Lal for the Popcorn Talk Network, and right now we're at the red carpet premiere for the house across the street. We're just about waiting for the red carpet arrivals, but I have to tell you, this is the very first time we've seen deaf media and deaf celebrities in the same vicinity on the red carpet. It's definitely a very interesting event, so keep tuning in for the Popcorn Talk. Popcorn?
Yes.
Kat and I are just enjoying some popcorn. Invisible popcorn, folks. Oh, delicious.
I will do interview for popcorn. I like that. It's very cool.
I saw the film 2 nights ago. I thought it was so suspenseful, unpredictable.
Yes.
And you are so creepy. I love it.
Even when I try not to be really creepy, I seem to always end up being creepy anyway.
Like, you didn't do you. Like, you were able to create this, I'm feared, yet I have to pretend like everything's okay, yet I'm hiding something. Wasn't that kind of difficult?
I think I'm a little bit of a red herring in this thing, right? You know, literally, right? Red herring. But yes, I think I'm a little bit of. I think that's why I was brought on, because you see me and you're like, oh, he did it.
What was it about the character though and the script that you really appealed to this?
Well, years ago I worked with Billy McAdams, who's the producer on this thing, and he approached me with it and sold me on the idea, and I read the script and I liked the role, and that was that. It was pretty simple.
Tell me about the experience working on set. Was this your first time communicating with deaf people?
Yeah, in a film, it was, and it was really interesting. Arthur's a really good guy, though, the director, and he was just very enthusiastic about getting it right, and so. We had an interpreter, students that was with him the whole time that made things pretty easy, actually. But it was an interesting and different experience. And on that note, last year I did ABC Family Show. It's all about deaf.
Switched at Birth.
Yeah, Switched at Birth, and that's a really good show. And that's a really interesting. The way they do it on that show is really interesting.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely. I love how Hollywood's kind of embracing it, not accepting it, but like allowing it for it to happen. This event is like bridging the two,
Yeah, I would say this event is, and I would certainly say Switched at Birth has really brought it into the mainstream. Completely.
Now tell me, would Courtney go across the street into the house?
Would Courtney? Probably not. He might sneak in the back or something, but I don't know if he'd go directly in the front.
It's your big night. This is your big film. Tell me, how are you really feeling? Nervous? You're like excited? What is it?
Everything. Excited and nervous.
All in one. Now, I want to know, what was the biggest challenge of making this film? Because I did read somewhere that the residents in the neighborhood you shot at were not so happy.
No, only one house on the street that we filmed on. We had the cooperation of one house on one side of the street, but the other side, a little bit tricky. One house did not want to be filmed, so we had to work around that. But we got around it.
Yeah, you did. You made an amazing film out of it. Tell me, was it kind of hard to create the natural suspense and the fear in the movie?
It's not easy. It's not easy. I had to go through a lot of drafts to try to eliminate weak moments, to eliminate moments where the plot stopped moving.
Okay, and tell me about working with Jessica. She was just speaking volumes about you, about how much you worked with her and the character, and you sat down with her. How was that experience?
Wonderful. I really enjoyed working with her. She got fully into her character. She allowed me to really manipulate her, which is something that I appreciate, because that requires a lot of trust from the actor's perspective.
American Sign Language culture, how is Hollywood portray that in their films, and how can we change it?
It's not enough, period. We need more.
Well, that's
a little bit more.
That's why we have you, Arthur. We're
hopefully
we're Boston. I didn't know how this is the first time that the deaf media and the deaf celebrities are coming together.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
I thought it was so cool to bridge that gap.
Yeah, and in Boston, there was such a huge support that came out and watched it from the deaf community. It was really awesome. I don't know what percentage of the audience was deaf, but a lot.
I think it's so cool. And plus, sign language is an intimate language. Like when I was actually talking to them, I was like, wow, I feel closer to you than just even communicating this way.
Because you can't, when you're talking to Arthur or one of the deaf people that's around, you can't just be like going like this, because they're trying to look at you and read your lips. So you have to give a lot of attention, which is what we should all do when we're talking to people, right? That's the polite thing, but you don't realize that.
Yeah. Are you proud of your performance? Do you feel like this is your best work yet?
Yeah, I mean, I'm proud of my performance. I think there's certain moments as any actor that you're just like, oh man, like why did I do it that way? But you know what, you just get better with every role, and you cannot beat yourself up about it. And I'm proud of myself. I think I did a pretty good job. There's one particular scene right at the beginning that I'm like, oh man, I wish I'd reacted differently, but I was directed not to, and it's okay. It's good. We're actors. We put ourselves out there. Judge me, whatever.
Enjoy your night. Have fun.
Thank you.
I want to get tipsy with you.
We will.
At Birth is probably one of the first Hollywood productions that kind of combined deaf people, and especially this event today too is also bridging the gap. So what does that all mean for you?
So before, we really didn't have so many deaf actors that were on television. I noticed that there were some deaf actors, but they were deaf roles played by hearing people. So obviously now, with Switched at Birth, people have learned something about the process, that this is a true deaf character, and there's a way to do it. And people have learned that hearing have learned through the deaf way, and deaf people have learned through the hearing way, and it's making it much better than the history. A lot of times deaf kids would have a hard time with hearing people, but today I noticed that a lot of kids from high school, they have ASL classes, and they've learned ASL from the TV show, and they'll tell me, I learned from Switched at Birth. I meet people who've actually learned some sign. They'll actually bring somebody, who can interpret in different situations, whether it's over the phone or at the restaurants, and that's just nice to see that.
So tell me what brought you out here today to this very unique Hollywood event,
I think it's awesome. Like everyone out in the crowd in line is signing. I think that's so cool. I'm a big supporter of the deaf community and ASL, so that's really what attracted me to the film. But I'm also a fan of Eric Roberts and Ethan Embry, so I'm excited. It should be a good time.
Have you ever worked with them in any projects, or would you like to?
I have a film coming up with Eric Roberts called The Legacy of Avril Kite that we're supposed to start shooting later this year, but I haven't worked with him yet.
Tell me about the Zombie Killers. About your role and about the movie itself. How was filming that?
Yeah, it was amazing. We're getting ready to do the sequel later this year in November. But I play Nikki, and I live to be in the second one. So sorry if you haven't seen it. I just spoiled that. But yeah, it was a ton of fun. We had a great time shooting it. It was great to do all the action stuff and get bloody, so it was fun.
Is there a role or a type of genre that you still haven't done that you would love to do?
I just started getting into some comedy, but I definitely want to do more of that. I'm ready to get out of the blood and into the funny stuff.
Into the laughs. Now, lastly, has anyone ever told you that you remind them of Cameron Diaz, like completely?
I haven't gotten that.
For some reason, your voice and your whole attitude.
She's fantastic, so I will take that any day.
If you want thrill, suspense, and some delicious popcorn, make sure to check out The House Across the Street, now in select theaters, and iTunes and Amazon. It's your girl Kanika Lal for Popcorn Talk. See you later.